So what I would do to answer kind of, I think the glaring question, like in regards to social media, you know that Instagram and Facebook, like Facebook owns Instagram.
Yes.
So you can link those. Did you already link them?
Yes, they're linked.
Okay. So when you post to Instagram, and one of the things I'm going to tell you to do is you haven't been posting to Instagram on a regular basis, right?
Correct. No,
so let's aim for like 2 to 3 times a week. Like let's aim for 2 to 3 posts this week. I mean, that's still pretty low, but you haven't been doing it. So let's start somewhere and then we can build on it and then link it to Facebook every time. I mean, for me, like I try to Monday through Friday go on Instagram and then I link it to Facebook automatically, but I post to Facebook with Women's Best Performance. I know you see it 2, 4, 5 times a day and you can schedule it, but I would start by just doing it like 2 to 3 times a week to start putting like content out there. And go from there. And then I'm sure your next question is, what content do I post?
Yes.
So if we look at your strengths, you say like you have over 15 years of basketball coaching and rehab experience.
Well, basketball experience and then rehab is 3 years, but yes.
Okay. So let's just say 15 years over basketball coach. What are like the common questions you get asked by parents or players all the time?
Yeah, I mean, not so much with performance. I feel like that's something that people need to be educated on, if that makes sense.
Throw a question out to me, though, that they ask you.
Yeah.
Like that's basketball related. I mean, don't be like, oh, my kid in school.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. I'm sorry, my mind's coming to a
No, it's okay. No.
What do parents ask me or kids ask me? It's more of a skill, like I get more skill development questions, not so much about, this hurts, why does it hurt, coach? I mean, a couple of those kind of things, but not a ton of questions when it comes to performance. How can I improve handling? How can I improve my shot? Which is things I'm moving away from because I positioned myself in the past as a skills coach and as a team coach, Okay.
So
don't get as many questions about performance. On the volleyball side, maybe like they may say like my shoulder hurts, but what can I do for my shoulder? Just things of that nature. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So if I say, I played basketball, so I'm at an advantage that I know what you're talking about. So like how to improve your shot. Like I would put a post together or video. I don't know what you feel comfortable with. Like that's the other thing. Like what's your strength? Are you good on video or would you prefer to write?
I think I'm good at both. I think I'm a good writer, but I think I'm very good speaking in front of people. I was a teacher for over 10 years, I was a kid sports director at a church where I had to speak in front of thousands of people, of parents. So speaking and giving presentations, that's totally cool with me.
So I would just pick what you're going to do, whether you're going to write or whether you're going to do video. Like for me, I do video and then so just pick. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I think if we were to look at like the Facebook like experts, they're going to tell you that Facebook is probably going to change all the video in 3 years. So that's the rumor in the world. Mm-hmm. So I think doing video, if you're comfortable, would probably be a great place to start. Okay. I would just do what you said, like how do you improve your jump shot? I would take that more with like a weight training and be like, if you want to improve your shot, you need to be doing squats because if you have stronger legs, it's going to give you more of a bend to like lift off the shoe. Go on that line. And I think you could probably put 3 videos together, like how to improve your jump shot by, doing squats, doing lunges, doing deadlifts. Like I'm just kind of pulling this out of my head right now, but I think you could go somewhere like, again, how do I improve my rebounding skills from like a weight training perspective?
Okay. Rebounding.
Or like if you like the step back, if you could do an ice skater, right? The step back's going to become better. So I would kind of break down what people ask you about. How do I get better at my jump shot? How do I become a better rebounder? How do I become, I have no idea, a better shot blocker? Take that from a sports performance side, and that's what I would do. Okay.
All right. That makes sense. It kind of changes because, again, that's where I need help, I guess, is in where you're not only the fact that you're a business coach, but you're a performance coach is – turning my brain on to that as well. Sure, I know, I'm comfortable with and understand all those mechanics and movements, but putting that into this translates over to this skill is something that I need to do more of and do a better job of. And that's why I was asking too, and I've been looking at some of those sites, but just so I can continue to read and learn as I go, so I can continue to turn my brain on to those things. Okay, I'm thinking that when I'm thinking about your handle and how to develop your pound, well, you need to develop your hand strength. You need to develop your forearm strength. now I'm thinking about it, but I've never.
Yep.
Just don't.
Yeah, no, and most people don't. And I think why I think like, especially for like what I do and like what you want to do, no one does that. You know what I mean? And you know this, like, I think I said this last week, the biggest difference, which if these girls want to play in college, the biggest difference between high school and college sports, whether it's basketball, volleyball, is speed and strength. It's not skill. If these kids have the skill, they're going to be okay, but they get their tails kicked because they're playing. I mean, they're playing against kids that are just stronger and faster and more physical. Mm-hmm. So adding that like sports performance component is this missing? And also, like, you were in rehab. You know, there's ACL injuries out of the wazoo right now. You could probably spend a month on the ACL.
Yes.
Like, because you have the rehab side. Like, I don't. I mean, like, I took an anatomy class when I was in college. That's like almost 20 years ago. Like, say, okay, here's what your ACL is. Like, why girls are more susceptible. And I mean, you could, and just break it down, like one tip, 1 minute video, 2 minute video. And again, you could easily lay out probably 10 to 15 videos if you really, like, again, focused on the ACL. And I think with your rehab background, you're at an advantage that most people don't have.
Okay.
I'm just, because that's why I asked you to look, like, I'm just going off what your strengths are. And I just kind of went down like, like what you have and like where I would go. And again, I think like if you actually laid it out after tomorrow, you probably could come up with at least 30 videos you could do. And if you're only going to do, 2 to 3 a week, that lasts you, a good couple months.
Good morning, Brandon. Sorry, my son just got up.
No, it's totally fine.
Come up with, okay. I'm writing this down.
Yeah, that's totally fine. And I mean, I'm recording this again, so I'll send it to you. But yeah, I would just come up more like, again, how to improve your jump shot, and then put a bullet point, squats. And then the reason squats will help your jump shot, and then you can go from there. And I mean, I'm guessing you have access to a basketball court too. Like, being able to do these on a basketball court, I think is a huge advantage. Like, unless I'm at school and I'm on break right now, like, I can't do videos on the basketball court. That's just kind of a pain in the butt for me. But if you can, I think that's better, because people are gonna be like, oh, he's on the basketball court, what's he talking about?
Yes, absolutely. So I do have access to a gym. I do have access to athletes that could, that could come up and be demo people, like, hey, I'm working with so-and-so today. From this club or from this team, that's helping us talk about. And so I could see myself maybe going age and stage, like parents, balance is such an important, single leg balance is such an important part of basketball when it comes to Euro steps or jab steps or anything like that. So taking on, hitting different things like skaters, like you said, or moving skaters going forward, or moving skaters for the step back, going backwards. Different things like that. So,
and I think that all sounds great. I think you're onto something with there. So like I said, write it out. And if you don't have like a kid to help you, just do the video on your own. I mean, you see with me, like, I usually do the videos on my own. Just do the videos. Like, just put the content out there. If you have a kid, great. If you don't, that's okay too.
Okay. Sounds good. Now my brain's click,
Perfect.
So I could even talk about, we could use a ladder with, hey, how do you teach your kid how to Euro step? Well, first take the basketball out of their hands. Can they single leg balance? And, just different things like that. But okay.
I love it. Yeah, no, write that down, because I love that, because like, I gotta be honest, like I haven't been a skills coach for basketball in a long time. Like, what you're saying, I love, but I'm like, wait, I don't even know what I would do to like improve the Euro step. So like, you're making my mind think too. So like, again, I would write all that down and I would crank it out. And then again, post to social media 2 to 3 times a week right now. I think eventually, yes, you should be almost doing like Monday through Friday, almost like once a day.
Okay.
And then once you start doing that, that's when you start to like again, you have a ton of connections. I'm just like reading this over. I mean, you have, something with like a volleyball community, even though if you haven't been using it, you have connections that you could at least get yourself in the door. Because again, I think you are doing something different, but I think you have a new, unique perspective from your background too.
Okay. Got it. Appreciate it.
And then the reason, and then I was asking more for you to put your strengths down so you can look at that. Because I think if you looked at it the way I just said to you, I think you're going to figure out more stuff that you can post.
Okay. Sounds good. I do also, I'm partnered with Crossover Symmetry, so I could do a whole, and I can sell some of their stuff, but it's just basically shoulder rehab repair, but also really improve the speed of your strength, the speed of your swing, which is mainly for baseball players is what it's used, but they don't use it for volleyball players. But obviously it's the same thing. Volleyball players, you want a fast arm swing. Same thing with baseball players when it comes to pitchers and throwing. So nothing really changes there. So that's a whole other market that no one's really hitting that I could hit. And that just
sounds great.
So that's another opportunity.
Yeah, I would write that down. I think that's great. You could do a whole series on like shoulder care, like preseason volleyball. I mean, for most colleges is pretty much going to be starting really soon. I mean, high school, I mean, the kids really, they should be doing something. I don't know when high school starts in Texas. I know here it starts after Labor Day, but this kids go into preseason soccer and volleyball and they're expected to do something. Half the kids are getting hurt because they never did anything in the summer.
Exactly.
So doing a video series on that, I mean, I have 50 things running through my head that I think you could do to easily build this up. I don't want to overwhelm you with all 50 things right now. I think like right now, what you really want to do is like kind of write down what you could do for a blog. Like we're almost in July. Let's just say for July, like by next week, kind of lay out what you're going to do for July. And then next week film, whether you're going to film your videos for the whole month or like film your videos a week ahead, 2 weeks, figure out, like I usually film everything a month ahead. That's just me. Some people, but sometimes you're like, crap, what did I film? Like I might want to change it now. So figure out how you're going to film it. But like, I would love you to have your July content ready, that you could be ready in July, that you and even Meredith, maybe like give Meredith a thing and say, Meredith, I want you to post once a week and post it on whatever. So then at least you're posting, you know what I mean? Then and if you're posting 2 or 3 and she's posting 1, you got 4 posts. Got it.
Absolutely.
And just give her I don't know what her strong point is. I don't know, Meredith. Have her do something, even if it's on skill work, as long as you're complimenting each other, that's a great.
She's she's got her master's in sports performance, something from UT. We're on the same page.
Got it.
She's going more skill, but she's torn her ACL 4 times when she played. She's got a story. That's why she's really big in injury prevention as well.
So if I went on your website, because I was looking at this, is her story on there about tearing her ACL, why she thinks it's important?
I think it is.
Okay.
I got to look at it again, but yeah, definitely. I mean,
if it's not, that could be something you could interview her and be like, oh, you tore your ACL. What do you wish you knew? And that could be in the ACL stuff. Again, I think like telling your story, you're a hometown boy, like you've been here for 30 years, that matters to people big time. And she's tore her ACL. I know what it's like. She can relate to the kids.
Absolutely.
I think again, I would lay out July. You said they're linked. I mean, for now until July, we have like a week and a half left. So other content you can post, motivational quotes.
Okay.
Like go on and type in motivational quotes for basketball and just download, like make a folder or put it on your phone, download it, and then post it. You can schedule it for Facebook. Do you know how to schedule the posts?
Yes.
So yeah, schedule it. Like take, I don't know when you're in the office, but take, 20, 30 minutes, schedule it. Motivational quotes are always good. Like there's certain like the Positive Coaching Alliance always has really good articles.
We're big supporters of that.
You could take an article there, post it. Renee Lopez does some really great stuff on recruiting. I think it's R. Lopez Consulting. She has some really good recruiting stuff. I'd have to look through and I can send you stuff that you could that I take off.
Yeah, I love your stuff. Like I've taken some of your stuff and used it. I just love some of the stuff you put on about, with women's sports, just a lot of the things I read it. I love your content. So I've just got to find my avenue to get my content. And that's where I wouldn't say struggling, but and then I just got to I tend to think right now, I think, oh my God, how am I going to do that 2-3 times a week for a whole year, as opposed to just freaking do it for 1 week, idiot. And just worry about the week in front of you, the week in front of you, the week in front of you.
Listen, I think the same thing you do, just to let you know that I think exactly what you do. Because I do it 3 times a week. Trust me, I think what you think, but it's kind of like I did videos like probably 2-3 weeks ago about resistance bands and kind of where like young kids should start. And it ended up being where I think I made 12 videos.
Mm-hmm.
That got me through a month. And then I've been fortunate that I've been connecting with really good people. Like Renee I don't know if you saw the interview with Renee Lopez about recruiting. Like that was a really good interview. Like I want to share that. I shared one of her blog posts with my list last week because it makes my life easier. Than I would love, down the road, we'll do an interview so I can share it with everyone on my list. So you know what I mean? You'd help me. So you'll figure it out. Trust me. That's why I'm saying like figure out July, have a plan, and you'll be fine. And the videos need to be like 1 to 2 minutes. They don't need to be 8, 10 minutes. Like no one's going to watch it.
Absolutely. I was starting on that, and I did a couple videos when I first started Force, but I think I got bogged down and busy and overwhelmed with like, how am I going to keep doing it? It's about consistency, Jen. I know that, but that's everybody knows it.
Yeah, it's whether they do it.
It's implementation. And
but
so,
even if you did, like I said, 2 to 3 times a week, even if you start, if like you think one time a week, as long as you were consistent, every Wednesday I'm going to post and every Friday Meredith is going to post, it will go a long way because people don't do that.
got it.
And you're probably, and I know this for a fact because I think I said this last week on my email list. I mean, I could give you names that are pretty big in the fitness field. The only time they email out is when they're selling something.
Yeah.
And I think, and I was talking to my website guy has done a lot of launches for some pretty big fitness people. And he was saying that he knows for a fact they're starting to drain out right now because people are like, this guy only promotes other people's stuff and he only emails when he's selling stuff. They're going to die out because there's so many people out there. People can't read 10, 15 emails a day. They're going to weed out the people that give really good content. And that's, again, Pat Rigsby. I don't know if you know that name. He's a business coach. He literally emails every day.
I think I do know. And he's like a sports business. Like
he used to be in the sports performance business, but he does mainly like fitness consulting. But he literally emails out every day. I tell you 95% of the time, it's great content. Maybe at the end of the email and the PS, it will be a sell, but he's giving you something away before he's trying to sell you. And he's built a business on the email.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So again, it's just, but when you read his email, like he's selling something this week, there's a certification with Mike Robertson. But again, like people open his email because they know he's giving content. But other people, it's like, nope, delete. I don't even pay attention anymore.
Got it.
Again, content, consistent content. Again, even if it's one time a week right now to start, do that. If you think you can do it twice, do that. But lay it out for July and figure out what you can do. Like what I can do or you can do, where, it's two different things. So figure out what you can do. I'd have Meredith get on board to do once a week. Mm-hmm. Have her do something. If her story is not on your website about her ACL and all that, put it on there.
Okay.
Yeah, and then once you start posting in July, even like halfway through, that's when we can start to reach out to people and say, hey, this is what I'm starting to do. Probably run we'll plan like a sports performance clinic for volleyball players for healthy. But at first, start putting content out so we can start using that to build off it.
Okay, sounds good.
Excuse me, and then put this content on your website too. Like you have a blog on the website.
That's something I'm so bad when it comes to technology. That's something that we're through Wix, and I don't know if we can have that or not. I think we can because we have like a ball handling. We have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
We have ball handling videos for kids if they want to do homework. So I'm sure we can add this.
So every video you do, upload it to YouTube, and if you can, put it on your website. I mean, again, I think most people don't go to people's websites, but I'd still put it out there in case they're searching for you, that you have content and you have updated content. It's not from last year.
Got it.
Even if you repeated what you did, when people go on a website, they want to see that, he just posted last week and he posted, he posted this a year ago. They're going to think you're non-relevant if it's that way.
Got it. Okay. Put content on website. Okay. All right.
And then I think we got your target market, the athletes. I think you kind of know where you're gearing towards.
So here's a couple, I wanted to send you something that I saw, and because I have an idea of who my biggest, I wouldn't call them threats, but competitors are. Yep. And there's a guy, Uplifted Performance.
Uplifted? Is that one word, Uplifted?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Uplifted Performance.
And he's he mainly works with soccer folks and some other people. So it's not he's not a specialist.
Okay.
And let me read. I'm going to read because I just took a picture of it, and I just wanted to get your thoughts and see if it was something that is kind of because I met with it says, getting our athletes right with Dr. Burns and team on deload recovery day. We train smart injury prevention techniques, mobility, flexibility, stability, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I know Dr. Burns. I worked for him as his rehab guy for a while. So that's another thing that getting on board with them. He's kind of onto something that I would do. But while well-intended, most other sports programs and coaches overemphasize the focus on sports-specific technique and skills over speed and strength. Studies have shown health and injury prevention, blah, blah, blah. And it says partnering with other professionals who specialize in injury prevention and prepare to elevate local youth athletes. I don't know if I'm pigeonholing myself into sports-specific movements to become a better because I'm specializing in performance for basketball. If you think that is negative for me as a performance guy, or do you think again, I guess, how am I trying to, what am I trying to
I know what you're asking. So and I think many people that are business coaches to many other people and how I was trained and how I do it, we want a specialist. We don't want a generalist.
And I believe that. So
what he's saying, though, and I think you could argue this, again, about educating, is like they're really, when it comes to strength training, there's really nothing that's like sports specific about strength training. There's a push, there's a pull, there's a hinge, there's a squat. When it comes to conditioning, they're sports specific.
Yes.
And you could write and educate people about that. Don't like, not to trap, but I would go and educate them about what he's saying, because like, you know this, the best ACL program for girls is a solid strength and conditioning program. Mm-hmm. It's not an ACL program. You know what I mean? Like, sure. And I think people they're like, oh, sports specific. And I've said to people, I said, look, in the weightlifting, it's not sports specific. Every female should be doing this. It's sports specific when we're talking about conditioning, because a basketball player isn't going to run as far as a soccer player.
Right.
Or a baseball player or softball, why they're running a time 2 mile. I would love for someone to answer that for me one day.
Yeah.
So I think what he's saying isn't 100% wrong, but I think you can educate the public about what I just said. Like, when it comes to strength training, I don't think there's really sports specifics. I don't. Because again, everyone should be pushing, pulling, core, carrying, hinging, squatting, single leg stuff. And with the core, there should be some sort of rotation every time you work out. So do I think maybe tennis players would do a little more rotating? Sure. But I think we're so stuck on the sports specific stuff. Especially with what I do with the basketball players, people are worried about sports specific and improving their vertical jump. And I'm like, well, that's all well and good, but they can't land. Mm-hmm. They have no foundational base. You tell them to jump as high as they can and they can't land, you're going to tear their ACL anyways. So I think there's a way you can do it that way.
Absolutely.
If you want to do like female athletes, I mean, I want you to feel comfortable with who you're going to work with. I just think, again, female athletes is wide.
Yeah, no.
Basketball, volleyball is more kind of, we're putting in a funnel. We're putting it. So, I mean, that's up to you. I want you to feel comfortable with who you're working for. But would you feel comfortable talking about a girl soccer player in their training compared to volleyball or basketball?
Not at all. I mean, to be honest, like basketball, like I guess my thing is, and where I operate, and again, if we're going to be, you're my coach, so I've got to be completely honest with where I am mentally, and I wouldn't say the word emotionally, not to get into private stuff, but more of just, okay, this is what this guy's dealing with. Fear and doubt creep into my head quite a bit. Like, obviously, am I too old? We've already talked about that. No, I'm not. I got to remind myself of that. Those are just negative energy from the universe that, resistance that gets in my head. And then when it comes to this, I'm thinking, I guess it's like the want to make money. You're like, oh my gosh, it's like restaurants. If I only sell burgers, oh man, I'm missing out on people that want enchiladas or people that want tacos. And but if you have the best burger in town, you're going to eat just fine because people are going to come for your burger. But I know that, but I guess it's the same premise here where I'm thinking like, oh man, like, is there enough for me to go around if I niche down? And again, it's more of just hearing it from you. I buy into what you're saying and I believe it. It's just one of those things where I saw that I'm like, oh man, is there enough? Because again, like, I guess my biggest competition are the schools. Yeah. For example, I was going to run a program this summer and no one really signed up. I didn't do a good job putting it out there. And it was it didn't have the client base anyways, but for like a summer program, like conditioning program, 12 sessions. And like one of the ladies that I talked to about it, her son's in my son's preschool class, blah, blah, blah. She's an athletic coordinator for a public middle school. And she's like, well, we're doing a summer strength and conditioning program and we're making it mandatory for our athletes. Like the public schools they can only do it for 6 weeks. Yep. It is an area, but some schools are getting more like, hey, that's a way for us to make money. And they're making it super duper cheap. I know one high school does it. It's a TAC program. They call it TAC, but it's mainly a lot of football players, but they have a ton of kids that go out there, like over 200, but it's only like $75 for the summer, like something crazy cheap, and that's where I've got to figure out, like, people say, yeah, it's nice, but we go to this guy who may charge more. Not that I'm looking to gouge people. Yeah. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? Those are the things that I'm dealing with.
So, and I think that's we could have that conversation. I think that's a conversation we should focus on
for later.
Like a few weeks, a month from now. I will tell you this. I don't know how well you know the Boston area, but do you know the name Mike Boyle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Mike Boyle is like 20 minutes away from me.
Okay.
You know the name Eric Cressy?
Yes.
Eric Cressy is 30 minutes away. Great. And then there's Mike Reinhold, who does a lot of products with Eric Cressy. Yeah. So I'm just letting you know. Boston actually is a mecca kind of for like sports performance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like whatever this uplifted performance does and they do it well, follow what they do. But put your spin, your personality. But again, that's why I'm telling you why we want to niche it down. Because again, Mike Boyle has been doing this a long time. Okay. So but like Eric Cressy, baseball, if you're going to play basketball, you're not going to Eric Cressy.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, softball, they used to have a girl there. She moved. Mike Reinold, I know this for a fact. I know Mike pretty well. They kill it with like the baseball players, professionals. But for like the young athletes in the area, he's like, I'd rather deal with parents because I make more money when he deals with adults.
Okay.
This is coming. So again, you're fine. Look at what uplifted performance does, what they do well, and model it and put your spin on it. So what you just told me about the sports specific stuff, there's a video right there to educate people about why strength so much isn't sports specific. We are going to focus more on the conditioning with the energy systems and how we train them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like I educate him because again, he's a doctor, right? So he's a doctor. He knows everything. You know, people are going to believe him. It's all about education. That's why I'm saying let's lay out the content. Let's start posting it. People will notice. Like if you start putting content out there, oh, hey, this guy, look, oh, I really like this. What's he putting out there? And you're giving it away for free. That is how people are going to notice.
Okay.
Eric Cressy posts, probably is one of the best Twitter accounts I've ever seen. And he gives away stuff. Mike Reinold does it. Mike Boyle started doing a Wednesday video tip. Like he sees that he needs to do more video. Like it's just starting to get the ball rolling. It's not going to be a quick fix, but again, focus on the content. Then we'll go into like, okay, now that we have content, let's put a one-day clinic together. We're going to use your strengths and go from there. But again, we need to look at that a little bit.
Yeah. Yes. Just one quick second. Hey, Bria Grace, I need you to get in the shower and then put on your swimsuit so we can go to swim practice here in a little bit. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's fine. So start with that. Like look at, lay out your content, figure out what you're going to do. Talk to Meredith about her doing one post a week.
Mm-hmm.
Start there. I'm probably going to send you a few questions later in the week. Not so much for me, but for you. Like, again, you looked at your strengths. Look at your strengths a lot. Because a lot of the stuff you're going to do is going to be based off that.
Okay.
You have your niche. I just want to know if you're going to keep your website or were you going to make your own. It wasn't what's right or wrong. It was just more so I know what to keep looking at.
Sure. No problem. No, I'm keeping again, that's something that I think we're going to need to talk about more. I love Meredith as a friend and also as I like our business. I've talked to my accountant's been because we're brand new into this business thing, less than a year. So we haven't filed taxes together, but it's it's very complicated. You got to make sure it's worth it. She wasn't discouraging me. And we have our bumps, not from a getting along standpoint. It's just our schedules all over the place. We struggle to meet. So, so there's definitely some breakdowns in communication to where we could be more fine-tuned.
Yep.
And so it's kind of one of those things. And performance is she's like, hey, if you want to do that's your side. I don't pay her anything from it. It's you make we don't really have a business model. I've talked about I need direction. Can we meet to have a business? But we just can't. We meet, okay. It's usually to meet what's right in front of our face. Hey, there's this camp. What are we going to do for it? Hey, there's this in the next 2 months. What are you going to do for it? But the big picture, dude, I need to know where we're going in 5 years. I've asked that. And it's we just haven't been able to meet for that. So I'm preparing myself because, again, at 45 or when Bria, my daughter, is in 7th grade and she's playing school sports, I would like to have a facility or have a rented space and a coach that I can say, all right, Tuesday nights, basketball season, I'm not taking clients because my daughter's playing, but somebody else can, you know what I mean? That's the goal. She gets there. It's time. I want to, have something established. So if Meredith is ready if we're at that point, great. But at that point, if we're still, it'd be hey, we can still be involved with the club. We can still work together a lot of things, but I'm opening this,
Gotcha. No, that's fine. The only thing I would tell you is I know Meredith you guys do clinics or she does it. Make sure she's collecting emails and make sure you have a place right now. We can talk about an email thing next week. I just feel I'd overwhelm you if I gave you that right now. Just make sure you have a collection of emails. So if you do eventually split off down the road, you guys both have the emails and then you can email out and see who wants to go where and who wants to go where. But email is the key to business. So just make sure you have a way to, if she's doing clinics, get those emails.
Yes, we do. everything online.
Okay.
So that naturally gets them. And then also, because we have an online merchant system.
Okay.
I asked her about her shooting clinic, and she was working on that. Because as soon as we got off the phone, off our conference call the last time, we hurry, please, girl. I talked to her about that. I was like, hey, can you get those clinics? I talked about, hey, I want to niche down. Yep. I'm not working with general athletes, or because I do get questions I have before, like, hey, I got a son who plays football, or hey, I have a daughter. Will you do this for our softball team? But I'm just going to have to start to say no and just be like.
I mean, the other thing is, like, is there someone in the area that just works with softball or football that you could maybe develop a relationship there and be like, hey, my focus is on basketball and volleyball, your focus is on football, like work together that way?
No, there really isn't. Everybody's kind of everybody's kind of like, hey, I'm trying to eat, so I'll take anything I can.
Yeah, I mean, if a female athlete's asking to train with you, I don't know if I'd turn them away right now. I just wouldn't be like, you know what I mean? When you're marketing on social media, it would be more niche down. But if like a female softball player wanted to train with you and you feel you're competent to do it, then do it. Got it. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say no that. I'm just saying, like, when you're doing video, I wouldn't be like, so this video is for softball, baseball. That's sure. Like, I think, again, like, I sometimes will write girl basketball players in my videos, and some days I'll do female athletes. It's all dependent upon kind of what I'm doing. Like, the video's coming out this week, probably the end. It's going to be more like lateral shuffles in a band. Mm-hmm. That's really specific per se towards basketball. So I'm not going to say female athletes. It's going to be basketball players. Sure, absolutely. That makes sense. No, I've got you. So I got to jump on another call. I'm doing an interview with a friend on business and social media. So yeah, I want you to like lay out July with your, what you're going to blog, lay that out. And that might take a little bit, and then figure out when you're going to film it. If it's next week, great, but get your content so it's filmed. And again, talk to Meredith one time a week, get her on social media, and you 1, 2, 3 times, I think is where you need to start right now. To start putting stuff out there, getting your name out there, and we'll build off that. Okay, sounds good. So the homework is just the content is working. The homework is, what are you going to do for the content for July? Like, plan out all of July. Again, whether you're going to do it once, twice a week, 3 times, that's up to you. What's the content? And I mean, look, you have and figure out when you're going to film the videos. Okay. And then we'll go from there. But I mean, and that's going to take you longer than you probably think. Like, I don't think if you get it done in a day, then shoot me an email back, and then I'll give you some. Again, I just don't want to overwhelm you right now by telling you an email system, because that is a little daunting. When I first did it, it was daunting. So like, just do the content first, because posting to social media, that's easy. It really is. Like, you can schedule it, this and that. It's the other stuff that gets a little tricky, but if you sign up for an email thing, they have people that will walk you through it. So, but again, content first, and then we'll go from there. Okay, sounds good. My daughter is, like I said, I have a 9-year-old daughter. Yep. And I'm starting her on a performance training program. And I know, can I email you I would like to email you just what we're doing and just get your thoughts on it. Perfect. Yeah, no, shoot me an email. Okay. Yeah, and like I said, once you figure out content, shoot me an email. The end of the week, I'm going to probably send you a couple more questions to start rolling in your head, but I don't want to right now. I want you to focus just on the content and lay it out for July. Okay. All right. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Coach. See you later. All right, thank you.